Welcome to Pre-Snap Podcast, presented by LineStar app. Here's your host, Casey Bubba and Scott Bogman.
And welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Pre-Snap Podcast, brought to you by the wonderful people at LineStar Sports. Make sure you check them out on Twitter at LineStar app and at LineStar NFL. And download the app in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Everything you need in the palm of your hand to build your winning DFS lineups. They crank out all the good data, all the good tools for all the sports, not just football. So go check it out, LineStar in your app store, or just LineStar with LineStarApp.com as well to take care of all your needs there. We are here to preview the Monday night showdown between the Cardinals and the Rams. Find me on Twitter at BDintric, and my co-host is always on Twitter at Bogman Sports. Scott Bogman, how we doing, man?
Pretty miserable. Not great. Completely miserable, San Diego. That's how I am right now, as my Steelers got bounced by the Chiefs, but we will break that all down on the look ahead tomorrow night. So we don't have to dwell on it, but not great, Bob. Not a fun one.
Yeah, we don't get the instant post-mortem from Bogman. Like last time, it was right after Ben won a Sunday night football game that got him in. Like, or first he gets into the playoff. The week before was like his swan song in Monday night in Pittsburgh. So he's had back-to-back really positive weeks to talk. So we won't get him fresh off the bad one. We'll let him simmer for a bit on this one. We'll let him read Twitter and all the other fun takes on Instagram to make it happen. But for now, we will recap. We will preview the Monday night showdown between the Rams and the Arizona Cardinals on this one. But let's give us our picks for the week, as we started doing last week. Picks and bets, as well as your DFS, all in one wonderful show. So Arizona at the Rams in SoFi. At's a loose term, as we found. Matt Stafford, you can't hear his own team in his own stadium, so that's fun.
I did hear, though, I did hear that the Rams were specifically asking Rams fans not to sell their tickets to Cardinals fans. I mean, if you're selling tickets online, it's a nameless, faceless person. But I mean, I like, how are you supposed to know who you're selling your ticket to? Most of that's done online now anyway. But I don't know, man. Yeah, there's just so many transplants in the LA area, and it's not far for Cardinals fans to travel either. So
that was always the concern with an LA team. They have two of them, but it was like there's so many people there that are fans of so many other teams. Plus, USC is the team of choice in LA to begin with. Like, you're just
that's true.
Playing with fire on. That was one of the biggest arguments before the Chargers and the Rams came. But then they built the Cathedral, SoFi. So if you build it, they will come, and they have. Right now, though, we have a fun-filled line on this one. The Rams are minus 3.5, over under 49.5. Bogman, what say you?
Well, look, for me in this game, I'm going to go ahead and take the road team and the Arizona Cardinals here. Now, both these teams, as we mentioned before, are absolutely backing into the playoffs, right? I mean, the Rams only won this division after choking to the 49ers because the Cardinals choked at home against the Seahawks. So a lot of choking going on. This game is a choking hazard for your, children 3 and under. So, this would be a toy in a 1980s McDonald's Happy Meal if this was, a toy. But I think for me, I'm going to take the Cardinals. And it's to me in this game, it's just Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray has been playing okay. Obviously losing Hopkins has been tough, and they lost a big part of their running game. James Conner and Chase Edmonds both expected to play. Neither going to be 100% in this game, but I mean, it's week 19 of the NFL season. Who is going to be healthy coming in here, right? So I think that for me, Kyler's going to do enough. Plus, with the way that Matt Stafford has just been throwing picks, I don't know what is wrong with him. He is in a bad rhythm. If he gets back into, throw it to Cooper Kupp, don't make mistakes, let the run game do their thing, and let that defense eat him up, then the Rams can absolutely win this game. But both these teams won the road game. The Cardinals have already won a game in SoFi this year. So I'm going to take the Cardinals and on the back of Kyler to win this game. I thought the Cowboys were going to do that with Dak. Hopefully the Cardinals can watch that game, learn from their mistakes, and just let him run with it. Dak should have ran way more, but we'll get into that tomorrow.
Yeah, he did get to run with it, but yeah, we'll get into that tomorrow. This is a tough one. I like the Cardinals with you as well on this one, just for the fact that I don't believe what the Rams are doing. Like, Cooper Kupp can't do it all for them, as we're seeing. The Rams will have success in this game. I'm not going to doubt that, but I'll take the points with the Cardinals in this one. The line's already been moving since we talked about these other games a few days ago. So I'll take Arizona. I hope Kyler Murray gets it going. I also agree that with Edmonds, he actually practiced this week. He's still banged up, but looks like the healthier of the two right now, which is crazy because those
Connor got in
a week
one
ago.
practice.
Yeah, Connor got in Saturday's practice where
Yeah.
Edmonds got like 3 in at least or something like that. So it could be one of those like the week before, it was almost the flip-flop and Edmonds wasn't even active that game. So maybe Connor, they literally said the last report I read today was Connor isn't even a game time decision, or he's more than a game time decision. He's a 90-minute before the game warm-up decision. Like they won't know until he literally gets out there and starts to. It's that close to not good. So that means he'll probably go 2 scores and 90 yards or something. But
yeah,
we'll talk about that on the showdown here in a minute. But yeah, I'll go Arizona. I'm gonna take the under in this one. Two teams that know each other very, very well. They keep it tight, like 24-21 type game here. So I'll go Arizona. I'll go the under. Hopefully, an entertaining game in SoFi.
I don't even think I picked it, but I am going to go with the over here, just because I do think that we'll get into scoring late in the game. But also, look, if we're getting turnovers from Stafford, Arizona's going to put points on the board. So should be a good one. Should be better than a lot of these games were. We had a couple exciting ones, but blowout central here.
Most were duds. Not like last year's Super Wild Card Weekend. That was awesome. This one, it explained why like a 2 faces a 7. This happens. This is what we get. But let's talk Showdown. It's going to be a fun one because, you got the quarterbacks that are usually very popular in Showdown with Stafford and Murray. You got Cooper Kupp, who everybody and their mom's going to want to roster, but he's going to cost you pretty much most of your salary. There's lots of interesting options here, but as Bogman wants to take my $5 yet again, because this is what he's done pretty much all season. It was like literally I'm driving home from my sister-in-law's and I get this random, you have an invitation for a showdown. I'm like, who is this from? Home. Bogman. You must, it must be time to get some new toilet paper. Let's call
Smell
Bubba
blood in the water.
Showdown.
That's right. Yeah.
Exactly. I'm glad it was only $5 because if he, after the Steelers game, he might have wanted more. But I'll let you kick it off, Boggs. Who do you got for captain in this one?
Kyler Murray. I got Kyler Murray. Like I said, let the dude run. Let the little man run it. I think that's exactly what they should do in this game. It puts everyone on their heels. So I think you want to run him early so you get a linebacker specifically directed to him. And then after that, you can start throwing over the middle to Zach Ertz, who I'm also going to have in my lineup. But I really, really like Kyler Murray as my captain this week.
I like Kyler. We'll talk about him a little later in my lineup, but he's not captain. I used a kind of cheaper captain, a roll of the dice, let's get wild captain. And this allows me to get a lot of other stuff in my lineup, that's for sure. But we saw him return last week from an injury that we did not think he'd return all season from. Ooh. And early reports already have him, they want him to at least be 50-50 with Sony Michel, if not more than Sony Michel this week, because they loved what they saw last week. Last week was kind of a test drive to see how Cam Akers is doing. And the beautiful thing, even if it is 50-50, and say this is a close game or they're playing from behind, Cam Akers is the receiving back over Sony Michel all day long.
Yeah.
So I'm taking Cam Akers at captain at $9,900. It might not be for the faint of heart, but he's cheap as all get out at $9,900 as your captain on DraftKings. Let me go over to FanDuel real quick and tell you how much he is there. He's a whopping, I don't have that. Never mind. That's my bad. DraftKings, $9,900. I like the potential upside. It's a real risky play. I would not do it in cash by any means.
7,500 on DK or on FanDuel, excuse me. Yes,
super cheap there too. I just think it's a wild play. If you'd rather not put him in your captain, just use him as a flex play for super cheap. I get it, but putting him as my captain, you'll see the rest of my lineup. I can pretty much have almost whatever I want. So I'm going with Cam Akers. I told you before the show, Bogman, this is gonna be a little different than you think.
Yeah, look, it's a risky call, is what I'll say. I think I like this better in tournaments than double ups.
100%.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. But look, it's a risky call. But Cam Akers is the better of all of the running backs there. He's better than Darrell Henderson. He's much better than Sony Michel. So it is a bit risky. I am going to put Sony Michel in my lineup, and that is me hedging. That's me really hedging. Like if the Rams get up and start to get away in this game, then Sony Michel is going to see a lot of carries, because as much as you want to get Cam Akers involved in this, and he is a better running back, it's still only his second game back, right? Off of a pretty nasty injury here. So I think that should the Rams get up, and with the mistakes that Matthew Stafford has been making, let's give the ball to Sony Michel to jam it and wear out that clock if they get the lead. So it's a little bit hedgy. So you just want me to give the rest of my lineup right here. So
sure, go for it. Yeah.
Okay. So I do have Sony Michel. I'll be the opposite of you. I know since you're going with Cam, you probably don't have Sony Michel.
Nope, no Sony for me.
I put Cooper Kupp in there. I mean,
same.
I think
Gotcha.
you have to.
You have to pay Cooper. I think if you can play him in the captain and get away with a good roster, more power to you. But it's not fun.
I tried it. It didn't. Yeah. It was not. Yeah. I tried it. It wasn't working for me. Then Cooper Kupp, of course. Sony Michel. I told you I have Zach Ertz in my lineup. Like I said, you set a lot of stuff up. Well, here's captain. He needs some camera time. But you need to set up that throw over the middle. So you run Kyler early. You get a spy on him after you given up some chunk yards to Kyler. And now you start to do rollout plays and you throw over the middle to Zach Ertz. So I like that a lot. And I think he's going to have a pretty decent game here because look, Jalen Ramsey's still the best corner in the league, right? By any metric you want to measure. PFF, he's still number 1 in coverage. He's like number 4 in run stuffing. So the dude is just unbelievable player. So, AJ Green is going to be blanketed. Christian Kirk, they have a good secondary here, but the linebackers are a little suspect. So I like Zertz. Like Zach Ertz or Zertz, as I just called him. Yeah. The Cardinals defense, like I said, Matthew Stafford handing the ball out like it's Halloween candy. So I'll get in on that action and try to see if we can't get a pick 6 or something. I mean, even the Steelers had a touchdown on defense this week, so it could happen. And my last one, my cheapest one. So Kupp is 13. Zach Ertz is 6'2", which I think is a great price. Yep. Sony Michel, a little more, 7'2". The Cardinals defense is 3.6. And Antoine Wesley going to be my last pick because he played 75% of the snaps last week. And he's a big target, a red zone option for the Cardinals. And his price is super cheap at $1,800. I was kind of going back and forth between him and Skwarnik, the third wideout for the Rams. Well, really the fourth, but Van Jefferson has been a little bit banged up, and he was pretty limited this week in practice as well. Still think he's going to play, and he'll probably get more snaps. But I went with Wesley because Skwarnik played like 25% of the snaps last week, and Wesley was 75%, and they're around the same price. So I went with the guy on the team that I think is going to win, and I also think he's a bigger red zone threat than Skwarnik. So let's go with Wesley. So my lineup, once again, just run it down one more time. We got Kyler Murray at cap, Cooper Kupp, Zach Ertz, Cardinals defense, Antoine Wesley, Sony Michel.
Yeah, I one thing on the Skwarnik, I almost played him as well. I didn't like what I saw last week, but like the previous 3 or 4 weeks, he's been awesome. So if you're playing like in a lot of tournaments, you're multi-entering or something, I'd sprinkle him around.
And look, if Van Jefferson is one of those surprise inactives, because he's been banged up, Skwarnik is a good pivot.
Or the active but isn't really active guy.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, you just don't know on those,
Well, if he's banged up the way he is, it takes like 1 or 2 reps, and all of a sudden, boom, it's over. So definitely an option there. I'm with you there. But for my team, I have Cam Akers, a captain, as we talked about. I have Cooper Kupp, simple, no explanation needed. I have Kyler Murray because I 100% agree with what you're talking about. Why you'd have him as captain, totally get it. So I have him in my lineup for sure. I have Zach Ertz as well. He's even if Kyler can't run and set up over the middle, he's been Zach Ertz' safety blanket. He's getting tons of looks, especially in the red zone. The one thing I'll say is if you want to get frisky, if you don't like the Cam Akers play, you can play Ertz at captain. He's $9,300, where Akers is $99. So I have no problem playing Ertz at captain either, to be different, because where you can beat this Rams secondary more often than not is with the tight end. So if you want to go Ertz at captain over Akers, I get it for the people. And if you want to like save money at captain, those would be kind of the angles I look to there. So the 2 players that we're different here, I have Tyler Higbee for the Rams. He's been a big time option, especially with the guys getting banged up in that receiving core. So he's a guy that over the last few weeks we've seen Stafford go back to more often. So I'll go with Higbee. He's only $5,400, which is a nice cheap price tag. And my cheapest player at $4,000, because I think the Arizona Cardinals will be able to move the ball. Give me Matt Prater. Matt Prater's put up double-digit fantasy points in back-to-back weeks. I think 3 of his last 4. If he can get me 10-plus points once again at $4,000, he'll be sitting pretty. So I put some Matt Prater out there in a dome, which is going to bode very well for the old man. So I'm a big fan of that.
I like that lineup, man. And I like the, you're rolling them bones on Cam Akers. And I love Cam Akers. So I think
he crushed it in the playoffs
smart.
last year. Crushed it in the playoffs.
Yeah, he really did. Yeah. I mean, he's such a good running back, dude. He's way better than Darrell Henderson. So, Darrell Henderson, to give him credit, way better this year than he ever has been with the Rams. So he's good, but I still think Cam Akers is better. So we'll see.
We'll see. It's dicey. Like Bog said, in a double up, I should probably play safer since I'm playing. Technically, when I'm playing Bogman is a double up, a head to head. But I also put all of these lineups in a GPP. So
sure.
I'm kind of playing like, okay, if I lose $5 to Bogman's, hopefully this goes and wins me something else type.
Right.
So that's the angle I go with more often than not. And I think Cam Akers.
I like that angle. I like that $5.
Yeah, it helps you out and hopefully helps me out. Exactly. Just the beautiful thing about Cam Akers, we stressed it enough, maybe it's just me justifying things again, is he's got that ceiling. If he is healthier than we think, and they actually do make him more the lead back, he could pop off in a big way. So could be quite interesting, but we agree on most of the same guys and then a few value plays. It's a fun game because we didn't even mention a lot of the dudes is, you got the running back situation in Arizona. Somehow Connor doesn't play.
They're just so banged up. Yeah,
Edmonds is 75 as a captain, 5,000. He's almost a must play if Connor.
But he's not 100% either. That's why I'm a little leery on anybody from that scenario. And the coverage is so good. Yeah, I know that they're going to be starting Eric Weddle and everything, and he's like my age, close to it. So that's not great, right? But Taylor Rapp, unfortunately, going to miss this game. So there is, Van Jefferson can have a big game and no one would be surprised. OBJ, I think, is a guy that neither one of us bought that could be in for a decent day as well. I think Marco Wilson's out for this game as well. So in the secondary for the Cardinals is a little suspect anyway. So there's other plays for sure. But I like the Higbee call because, my whole thought process behind not taking Higbee in a lot of season longs and everything is Matt Stafford has never been really great at throwing to a tight end. And they've drafted some tight ends for him. TJ Hawkinson, the last kind of run at it for Stafford last year in Detroit. But, he is working with Higbee. It has been definitely working recently with him. It's like the one thing that Stafford has been good at in the last month or so. So there are definitely some other buys. I like your Prater buy. I think the same logic you can apply to Matt Gay, who's just a little bit more expensive at 63 and 62. But I'm not starting AJ Green with him getting shadowed by Jalen Ramsey, so maybe that makes him, a tournament option, maybe he gets the other side.
Christian Kirk becomes interesting too.
Yeah. But Darius Williams, good in the slot though. They're a good secondary.
I think that's why Zach Ertz is the play, at least on paper. That's the dude. So
that's what I think too.
We'll see what happens.
He's going to need to have a big game.
We'll see what happens, and most likely we'll record tomorrow night and give you guys a recap of the week. And Bogman will tell you he won $5 more off me. That's what we do. So we'll recap that for you and make it happen. But you never know. But if you guys do want more help building your showdown lines, besides listening to us blabber on about what we like and don't like, get the LineStar app. Go download it. It's got all the tools, all the values, all the lineup maker stuff you need to get you ready for the showdown action. And make sure you check them out on Twitter at LineStar app and at LineStar NFL. Check out Bogman on Twitter at Bogman Sports. I'm at BD Entrick. We'll be back with you guys with your I don't even know what divisional round action coming up for you guys next week on the Pre-Snap podcast. But for now, good luck on your showdown, everybody. Catch you guys later.
See ya.
Thanks for listening to Pre-Snap Podcast, presented by LineStar app. Please like, comment, subscribe, and rate for good karma in